Some bloodlines are not meant to be known, and yet they rule our world. Since the dawn of humanity, the story of Cain and Abel has been told as a simple tale of jealousy and murder. But what if behind this ancient narrative lies a secret far darker? What if Cain did not simply disappear into obscurity, but rather fathered a lineage that has moved through history in the shadows, manipulating power and influence? Today, we will explore the forbidden bloodline of Cain, the lineage that may have survived for millennia, hidden from the public eye, yet controlling the fate of nations, empires, and even global events. If you are fascinated by mysteries from history, forbidden knowledge, and biblical secrets, subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. The truth lies beneath the surface. The story begins in the earliest days of humanity. In the garden east of Eden, Adam and Eve, cast out from paradise, gave birth to two sons, Cain, the firstborn, and Abel, the younger. Cain was a tiller of the ground, while Abel tended flocks. When both brought offerings to God, only Abel's sacrifice was accepted. Cain, consumed by jealousy, committed the first murder recorded in human history. He slew his own brother. But the consequences of Cain's act were unlike any ordinary punishment. Instead of death, God placed a mysterious mark upon Cain, a divine protection, ensuring that no one would kill him. The text in Genesis leaves us with more questions than answers. What was this mark? Why would God protect the first murderer? Driven from the land of his parents, Cain wandered eastward into a place called the land of Nod. The Bible offers little detail about Nod, but its very mention opens unsettling possibilities. Who lived there? Was Cain truly alone? This is where the mystery deepens. Some scholars and esoteric traditions suggest that Nod was not empty, but inhabited by other beings, perhaps remnants of earlier creations, pre-Adamic races, or even beings not of this world. It is here that Cain is said to have taken a wife and begun his own bloodline. Unlike the descendants of Seth, who continued the righteous lineage leading to Noah, Cain's offspring developed a very different path. They became known for their mastery of metallurgy, music, and urban life, technologies far advanced for their time. The line of Cain would not fade into obscurity. Instead, it would evolve, adapt, and eventually hide itself within the corridors of power, where it may still reside. The land of Nod remains one of the most cryptic locations mentioned in the Bible. While the Genesis account tells us that Cain settled there after his exile, it leaves unanswered the most crucial question. Who did he find there? If Adam and Eve were the first humans, then who populated Nod? Some ancient traditions suggest that God may have created other beings before Adam, beings who existed parallel to or even prior to humanity as we know it. These pre-Adamic races, shrouded in esoteric lore, may have been inhabitants Cain encountered. Other theories propose that Nod represents not just a physical location, but a spiritual or dimensional realm, inhabited by entities that existed outside the natural order. Could Cain's union with these beings have introduced a hybrid bloodline, neither fully human nor entirely divine? Such a lineage would explain the rapid advancement attributed to Cain's descendants in arts, science, and city building. The children of Cain, through this potential fusion, may have inherited knowledge and capabilities far beyond what early humanity possessed. Metallurgy, weapon making, and the crafting of complex musical instruments are all skills mentioned in relation to his descendants, suggesting access to advanced, perhaps forbidden knowledge. From this shadowy union, a bloodline emerged, one with a hidden hand in the shaping of civilizations, one that carried a dark legacy to the ages, concealed in plain sight. As generations passed, the descendants of Cain became figures of influence and mystery. The Bible mentions Lamech, a direct descendant of Cain, who took 2 wives and fathered children known for their exceptional skills. Jabal became the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock. Jubal was the father of all who play the harp and flute. Tubal-Cain was a forger of all instruments of bronze and iron. These descriptions point to an extraordinary leap in cultural and technological development. While the other descendants of Adam were still living simple lives, Cain's lineage mastered metallurgy, created complex music, and built the first cities. This rapid progress has led many scholars to speculate that the bloodline of Cain was not merely advanced. It may have been aided by knowledge not of this world. Legends across various cultures speak of beings who descended to earth and shared forbidden knowledge with mankind. Whether fallen angels, watchers, or other entities, these teachers may have found willing recipients among the descendants of Cain, who were already marked by rebellion. Through secret knowledge, the bloodline of Cain cultivated power, creating an elite class that existed apart from and above the common people. Over centuries, this elite would become more adept at concealing its existence, embedding itself within ruling dynasties, religious orders, and secret societies. The hidden legacy of Cain may thus persist, an invisible hand guiding the course of history from behind veils of secrecy. As the generations of mankind multiplied, so did corruption and violence. The book of Genesis tells us that the earth became filled with wickedness, prompting God to send a great flood to purge creation. Yet one cannot ignore the possibility that this cataclysm was not only directed at humanity's general sinfulness, but at the dark influence of Cain's bloodline. The intermingling of humans and fallen entities, as described in apocryphal texts like the Book of Enoch, resulted in the birth of giants, the Nephilim. These beings of great strength and corruption may have been directly linked to the lineage of Cain, further amplifying the threat to divine order. Noah was chosen because he was perfect in his generations, a phrase some interpret as indicating genetic purity, untainted by the hybrid bloodline spreading across the earth. The flood, then, becomes not merely an act of judgment, but a surgical reset, an attempt to sever the growing influence of the forbidden bloodline. Yet questions remain. If the bloodline of Cain was truly eradicated, why do echoes of its influence persist throughout history? Some traditions suggest that not all members of Cain's lineage perished. Wives, daughters, or hidden survivors may have carried the bloodline forward, hidden beneath the surface, waiting to rise again in secret. As history unfolded, strange parallels emerged between the ancient bloodline of Cain and the elite power structures of modern times. Monarchies, secret brotherhoods, and global organizations often claim ancient origins, some even whispering connections to bloodlines predating Noah himself. The concept of divine right to rule may conceal a deeper truth, that certain families believe themselves to be heirs of an ancient and powerful lineage. Throughout history, dynasties have intermarried, consolidating wealth, influence, and perhaps, if these theories hold true, the genetic legacy of Cain. Secret societies such as the Freemasons, Illuminati, and others are frequently cited as keepers of forbidden knowledge, tracing their roots back to the mysteries first introduced by Cain's descendants. Symbols like the all-seeing eye, serpents, and ancient architecture may serve as cryptic signatures of this ancient bloodline operating in plain sight. Even today, whispers persist of a shadow elite guiding world events, financial systems, political movements, and global conflicts. Could it be that the children of Cain never vanished, but instead perfected the art of concealment, operating through proxies and institutions? If so, they remain among us, unseen architect of power, still pursuing an ancient agenda hidden since the days of Eden. As biblical prophecy moves toward its climactic fulfillment, many researchers point to recurring signs that suggest the bloodline of Cain may play a central role in the unfolding end times. In the book of Revelation, the emergence of the beast, the Antichrist, and the global empire of Babylon hint at the resurfacing of ancient powers long buried in secrecy. Could the Antichrist himself be a descendant of this forbidden lineage? Some traditions speculate that this final world ruler will embody the full corruption of Cain's legacy, a hybrid being blending human and fallen angelic blood, capable of deceiving nations and commanding loyalty through supernatural power. Mystery Babylon, described as a mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, may symbolize not just a city or empire, but the hidden network of influence passed down through generations. This network, rooted in the ancient rebellion of Cain, may be orchestrating global governance, financial control, and spiritual deception, all leading toward a final confrontation with divine justice. As the prophetic clock nears midnight, the question remains, is humanity already under the rule of this ancient bloodline? And will the ultimate unveiling of their power coincide with the humanity already under the rule of this ancient bloodline? And will the ultimate unveiling of their power coincide with the rise of the Antichrist, fulfilling the final chapters of Revelation? The prophecies point to a convergence of global systems, economic, political, religious, falling under control of one dominion. Many believe that behind this system stands not a newly risen power, but an ancient one. The bloodline of Cain, concealed for millennia, now poised to reemerge openly on the world stage. The forbidden bloodline that began with jealousy and murder may ultimately return to claim dominion over mankind, just as it did in the earliest days of Eden. And when that moment arrives, humanity may be forced to face the ancient darkness once again. The tale of Cain's bloodline is not merely an ancient myth confined to scripture. Its echoes resonate through secret societies, royal lineages, global financial powers, and prophetic warnings. Whether as a literal genetic lineage or a symbolic current of rebellion and hidden knowledge, the influence of Cain's legacy may still be shaping the world we live in. Throughout history, wars, revolutions, and shifts in power often trace back to unseen forces manipulating events from the shadows. The knowledge once granted to Cain's descendants, mastery over metallurgy, governance, and the arts, has evolved into dominion over modern technology, media, and global politics. What began as a brother's envy may have birthed a network so vast that its reach extends into every corner of modern society. And yet, the ultimate confrontation foretold by prophecy still awaits. Whether we recognize their hand or not, whether literal or allegorical, the forces linked to the forbidden bloodline may soon step from the shadows into the full light of world history. The question remains for each of us to consider. Are we witnessing the final rise of the ancient bloodline? Or has their influence been guiding humanity all along? If you seek more mysteries hidden in the pages of history, subscribe to the channel and like this video. And remember, not all secrets are meant to remain buried.